Have you ever wondered about the significance of the number 40 in the Bible? This number appears time and again, often marking periods of profound testing, transformation, and divine intervention. It appears repeatedly, often marking periods of testing and transformation. The number 40 is not just a random figure. It holds deep symbolic meaning in the biblical context. Think of the 40 days and nights of rain during the flood, a time of judgment and renewal. This deluge was not merely a natural disaster, but a divine reset, cleansing the world of its corruption and paving the way for a new beginning. Consider the Israelites' 40 years of wandering in the wilderness, a period of purification and preparation. This was a time when a generation was forged, learning to rely on God and shedding the vestiges of their past enslavement. These instances point to the profound spiritual weight the number 40 carries in the biblical narrative. It is a number that signifies a period of trial, but also of growth and transformation. Our focus lies in the extraordinary fasts undertaken by three pivotal figures: Moses, Elijah, and Jesus. Each of these men embarked on a journey of 40 days and nights, a journey that would not only test their physical limits but also deepen their spiritual connection with God. Each of these men endured 40 days and nights without food, a physical feat that pales in comparison to the spiritual depths they plumbed during this time. Their fasts were acts of profound devotion, a testament to their unwavering faith and commitment. Their fasts were not mere acts of deprivation, but intense periods of communion with God, leading to profound encounters with the divine. These were times of revelation, where they received divine guidance and strength for the missions ahead. These fasts were transformative, shaping the destiny of each man and ultimately the course of history. Through their sacrifices, they were prepared for the monumental tasks that lay before them. Moses emerged from his fast with the Ten Commandments, the foundation of Israel's covenant with God. This was not just a set of laws, but a divine blueprint for a just and holy society. Elijah, after his 40 days, received a renewed commission to confront wickedness and proclaim God's truth. His journey was one of rekindling his prophetic fire, ready to challenge the idolatry and corruption of his time. And Jesus, following his fast, embarked on his public ministry, announcing the arrival of God's kingdom. His time in the wilderness was a period of preparation, fortifying him for the trials and triumphs of his earthly mission. These three figures, each tested and transformed during their 40-day fasts, offer a compelling lens through which to view the mysteries of the Book of Revelation. Their experiences provide a framework for understanding the spiritual significance of the trials and tribulations described in this prophetic book. Could their experiences, particularly the miracles they performed, hold the key to understanding the enigmatic figures of the two witnesses? These witnesses, shrouded in mystery, may find their parallels in the lives of Moses, Elijah, and Jesus. Let us delve into their stories and explore the remarkable connections that emerge. By examining their journeys, we can uncover deeper insights into the spiritual truths that continue to resonate through the ages. Moses, the great liberator of Israel, stands as a towering figure in the Old Testament. His journey from a prince of Egypt to a shepherd in Midian, and finally to the leader of the Israelites, is a testament to his unwavering faith and obedience to God's call. Tasked by God to lead the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt, Moses faced a daunting task. Confronting Pharaoh, the most powerful ruler of the time, required immense courage and trust in God's promises. He stood up to Pharaoh, endured the plagues sent by God, and led his people through the parted waters of the Red Sea. This miraculous event not only demonstrated God's power, but also solidified Moses' role as the chosen leader of the Israelites. Yet, even after these displays of divine power, Moses' most profound encounter with God was yet to come. His journey was far from over, and the most significant chapter was about to unfold. It occurred on Mount Sinai, where Moses ascended to receive the Ten Commandments, the covenant law that would define the Israelites as God's chosen people. This moment was pivotal as it established the moral and spiritual foundation for the nation of Israel. For 40 days and nights, Moses remained on the mountain, fasting and communing with God. This period of intense spiritual discipline was a time of deep reflection and transformation for Moses. This period of intense spiritual discipline left Moses transformed, his face radiating with the glory of God. The physical manifestation of his encounter with the divine was evident to all who saw him. During his time on Sinai, Moses witnessed God's power firsthand. The mountain trembled and the skies were filled with thunder and lightning, a testament to the Almighty's presence. He witnessed the writing of the commandments on stone tablets by the finger of God. This divine act was a powerful reminder of the sacredness of the law and its eternal significance. He experienced the awe-inspiring presence of the Almighty. The encounter was not just a visual spectacle, but a profound spiritual experience that deepened Moses' understanding of God's holiness and majesty. And when he descended the mountain, he carried with him not only the law, but also a deeper understanding of God's power and holiness. His face, glowing with divine radiance, was a testament to his close communion with God. The miracles performed by Moses after his fast are numerous and awe-inspiring. Each act was a demonstration of God's power working through him, reaffirming his role as the chosen leader. He turned water into blood, a sign of God's judgment and power over nature, sent plagues of locusts and frogs, each plague a direct challenge to the gods of Egypt and a demonstration of the one true God's supremacy, and even parted the Red Sea. This miraculous event not only provided a way of escape for the Israelites, but also served as a powerful symbol of God's deliverance. These displays of divine power demonstrated God's control over creation and his commitment to his chosen people. Each miracle was a testament to God's faithfulness and his desire to see his people free. These miracles, performed by a man transformed by his 40-day fast, foreshadow the miraculous deeds of the two witnesses in Revelation, hinting at a deeper connection between these figures. Moses' life and actions continue to inspire and remind us of the power of faith and obedience to God's will. Elijah, a fiery prophet in the tradition of Moses, lived during a time of rampant idolatry and spiritual decay in Israel. The people had turned away from the worship of Yahweh, the one true God, and had embraced the worship of Baal, a pagan deity. This spiritual decline was not just a personal failing, but was encouraged and led by the rulers of the time. He boldly confronted King Ahab and his wicked wife Jezebel, challenging their worship of the pagan god Baal. Ahab and Jezebel were notorious for their ruthless promotion of Baal worship, which included building altars and temples dedicated to this false god. Elijah's confrontation was not just a personal vendetta. It was a divine mission to call the nation back to righteousness. Elijah's unwavering faith in the one true God led him to perform extraordinary miracles, proving God's power to a wayward generation. These miracles were not mere parlor tricks, but powerful demonstrations of divine intervention. They served as a stark contrast to the impotent rituals of Baal worship and were meant to turn the hearts of the people back to God. One of Elijah's most famous miracles occurred on Mount Carmel. This mountain was not just a random location, it was a place of great spiritual significance. It was here that Elijah would stage a dramatic showdown to prove once and for all who the true God was. In a dramatic showdown with the prophets of Baal, Elijah called upon God to send fire from heaven to consume his sacrifice. The prophets of Baal had spent the entire day in futile attempts to invoke their God, but to no avail. Elijah, in stark contrast, offered a simple prayer, and the response was immediate and overwhelming. The fire descended, consuming the offering and proving the might of the God of Israel. This miraculous event left no doubt in the minds of the onlookers about who the true God was. It was a powerful vindication of Elijah's faith and a clear message to the nation of Israel. This event solidified Elijah's reputation as a prophet of unparalleled power and courage. He became a symbol of divine authority and a beacon of hope for those who remained faithful to God. His actions inspired many to reconsider their ways and return to the worship of Yahweh. However, Elijah's ministry was not without its trials. Despite his successes, he faced immense opposition and personal struggles. The life of a prophet was fraught with danger and loneliness, and Elijah was no exception. Hunted by Jezebel, who sought his life, Elijah fled into the wilderness, despondent and despairing. Jezebel's wrath was relentless, and Elijah found himself isolated and vulnerable, questioning his mission and his worth. It was during this time of spiritual and physical exhaustion that God led Elijah on a journey to Mount Horeb, also known as Mount Sinai. This journey was not just a physical trek, but a spiritual pilgrimage, a time for Elijah to reconnect with God and find renewed purpose. There, Elijah, like Moses before him, fasted for 40 days and nights. This period of fasting was a time of deep spiritual reflection and preparation. It was a time for Elijah to seek God's guidance and to prepare for the next phase of his ministry. He sought refuge in a cave, hiding from the world and seeking solace in God's presence. The cave became a sanctuary, a place where Elijah could pour out his heart to God and find comfort in his presence. And it was in the stillness of the cave that God appeared to Elijah, not in a whirlwind or earthquake, but in a still, small voice. This gentle whisper was a profound reminder that God's presence is often found in the quiet moments, away from the noise and chaos of the world. This encounter renewed Elijah's faith and commissioned him to continue his prophetic ministry. With a renewed sense of purpose and divine mandate, Elijah emerged from the cave ready to face the challenges ahead and to fulfill his calling as God's prophet. Jesus, the central figure of the New Testament, stands as the fulfillment of the law and the prophets. He is the Son of God, the long-awaited Messiah who came to redeem humanity from sin and death. Yet, before embarking on his public ministry, Jesus, like Moses and Elijah before him, underwent a period of intense spiritual preparation. Led by the Spirit into the wilderness, Jesus fasted for 40 days and nights, mirroring the experiences of the great prophets who came before him. This fast was not merely a physical discipline, but a time of spiritual testing and affirmation. Satan tempted Jesus, seeking to divert him from his divine mission. But Jesus, strengthened by the Spirit, resisted each temptation, emerging from the wilderness, prepared to begin his ministry. The parallels between Jesus' fast and those of Moses and Elijah are striking. All three figures fasted for 40 days and nights. All three encountered God in profound ways during this time, and all three emerged from their fasts empowered to fulfill their divine callings. These connections highlight the continuity between the Old and New Testaments. Jesus did not come to abolish the law or the prophets, but to fulfill them. His fast, like those of Moses and Elijah, demonstrates his connection to the prophetic tradition and his role as the culmination of God's redemptive plan.